Hello, everyone. How are you? Hopefully, I know I'm not muted. At least it's not like I was last time. But every time I log into StreamYard lately, there's new things, and it was new again today. So, best of luck to me tonight. Promise nothing. Means probably like 16 crashes and 100 Betty remixes. What's up, Gabby? Hey, AJ. I can say it in my mind. What's up, Ash? How are you? Good to see you. I'm good, Flashman. How are you? Hello, Carmen. Carmen? I don't even know what happened. Hello, Annabelle. I will not time Gabby out ever. I don't ever. I would not time Gabby out. Well, you and StreamYard seem to be working like together, so to torture me with mute. You're hungry? That's nothing new. I just ate dinner. All right. I hope you guys all had a good weekend. There's Bri. Hello, Bri. How are you? You gifted a membership. Thank you so much. And Ash received it. Awesome. Thank you. So congratulations, Ashinator. I'm not timing Gabby out, but any yeah, I'll do whatever you want to do. Oh goodness. So we have made it to the end of Betty on the stand. This is the last day. We are going to see redirect, and then we're going to see recross, and then Betty's leaving the stand. She will not be retaking the stand, as far as I know. This has been really long, and I don't know. I was kind of thinking about everything that we've heard over the last few weeks. I don't know. It's taken us a long time to get through this. Mostly my fault, I know. And then Carmen kidnapped me, so you know, I had to. I had to tell her I didn't want to escape, and she made me, and she went home. Wasn't very nice. But anyway, I was thinking about the stuff that Betty said on the stand, and it's just excuse my language, and especially for getting so early into this. But if you're gonna give me, if you're repeatedly gonna give me a bouquet of shit and tell me it's a dozen roses, at least spray some air freshener on it first, because that's all we've had. That is, I mean, it has just been lie after lie, victim. She's victim, victim, victim. And I'm not saying she wasn't at times. She was. I've said it 1,000 times. They are all horrible to each other. Betty was just the most horrible at the end. That's it. It's nobody deserved to lose their life over their horribleness. So I know there's still Betty supporters out there. I don't understand. Maybe somebody will like come and tell me. I don't know. If you tell me nicely, I don't. It's fine. I'd be happy to have the conversation because I don't understand. If you support Betty, then I have to know like where's your line at, and I don't know where that is because 2 people are dead. Not here anymore. Good grief! I'm gonna get myself demonetized. So I don't know. Sorry. Sorry. I don't like Carmen, give me a break. Sorry, Flash fan. Carmen, I will talk to you about that because I have questions. So, and I didn't have time to respond to a message that you sent me like 30 seconds before I started. Yes. Yay, Monday. Yay. So anyway, if you have been following along, you know we are doing the Betty Broderick trial. If you're new, we are doing the Betty Broderick trial from 1991. This is her retrial. First trial ended in a hung jury, not on her guilt or innocence, but her level of guilt, to which degree. She is charged with 2 charges of second degree unaliving of her ex-husband Dan and his new wife of 6 months, Linda. My honest opinion is, I think if Betty would have been able to kind of pull it together and not stay so focused on the wrongs that were happening to her, she would have found that Dan eventually did the same thing to Linda as he did to her. I think Dan always wanted the newer, prettier model, period. Full stop. I think he may have been on like wife number 5 by now. And Betty could have been living off of $37,000 a month, or she could be happily remarried to somebody that wouldn't treat her like Dan. There's a lot of possibilities out there that she just couldn't like even see on the horizon. So that's just my thoughts. It's too bad. If Dan was as horrible as he kind of does come across sometimes, he would have been outed eventually. I mean, like, people would have saw through him, but he had money, so people would have stayed. So I don't know. But just those are thoughts by AJ. You're welcome. On a Monday. We are going to, I know the judge is speaking right now. I don't know if he tells us the reason for the delay that we can see on the screen. We've only got about an hour of testimony tonight, hour and 15 minutes, whatever. So let's do it and see if the judge tells us the reason for the delay.
The reason for the delay, you probably already know that,
Oh
but
my
in case you
gosh.
don't, I'm telling you that.
Everything is messed up on my everywhere. I don't know what my computer is trying to find for audio and the micro and the speakers. Dear heavens. Could you guys hear any of that? I have got all of a sudden. All right. Because it's just coming through weird on my my speakers, not through these, even though I just changed it so my intro would come through my headphones. It was echoey because it's Hang on. Try again. At least I wasn't muted.
Before we
I don't understand. Oh my gosh. I have a bunch of stuff on here I never had before. Nope. All right. See if this works. It does sound like I'm. All right. Let's try this one more time.
we begin the redirect exam.
I could hear that. Why are you not doing anything? Promise, this is not my first day, although it may seem like it. Carmen, it's not my Ethernet. It's my connection. Where's my settings at? It did sound like 1991. I'll give Flash Fan that. Well, thank you for hanging around while I try to work out some technical difficulties that I have no idea what I'm doing. I don't know where all this stuff came from. I've streamed since you've left, Carmen. And I actually am going to blame your brother because there's a bunch of stuff on here that wasn't here before that has to do with all his stuff that I don't have. Talk amongst yourself, please. All right, so I got the microphone. I just need my audio. Huh. All right, hang on.
Nomination of Mrs. Broderick, there are two comments
Is
I
that working?
make to you, ladies and gentlemen. First is that on cross-examination, the defendant was asked about voluntary abortions.
Oh, crap. Sorry. Is that working? Sorry to stop at a weird time. Did you guys have sound? I actually have sound. Okay, good. All right, here we go.
The reason for the delay, you probably already know that, but in case you don't, I'm telling you that. Before we begin the redirect examination of Mrs. Broderick, there are two comments I'd like to make to you, ladies and gentlemen. First is that on cross-examination, the defendant was asked about voluntary abortions that she had not been asked about by her attorney on direct examination. The reason for that is that there had been a pretrial ruling where I found such testimony to be irrelevant to any issue involved in this case. Therefore, her failure to testify regarding the abortion should not be viewed by you as an attempt by her to hide the fact that she did have the abortions, but rather was consistent with my ruling that they were relevant to any issue in this case. Also, I made a pretrial ruling with regard to the diaries. Reference was made to the diaries during the defendant's testimony, inferring that they may contain relevant evidence that defense counsel was being prevented from presenting to you. That is not the case. Both counsel can present relevant portions of the diary. They can also present other portions of the diary that are necessary to put the relevant part in proper context. Neither party is trying to hide any relevant evidence from you, nor are they being prevented from presenting any relevant evidence. With that, Mrs. Broderick, you're still under oath. Mr. Early, you may proceed.
Good morning. You were asked some questions about your testimony last year and your testimony this year. You remember that?
Yes.
Okay. Last year, you testified for approximately 3.5 days, which were contained in 3 volumes of transcripts. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. And the questions about what happened in the bedroom covered 2 of those pages, about 10 questions. Is that correct?
Yes.
And there was no questions asked at all about that by the prosecutor, Ms. Wells, was there?
Not that I remember, no.
Okay. You've indicated that you were asked some questions about different shows and different newspapers, 2020 People, Amy Wallace, some other newspapers. Do you remember that?
Yes.
Okay. Are those people that you contacted? Did they contact you?
No, I never contacted anyone first. They all sought to contact me.
And on those shows, for instance, Kim Broderick was on 2020 People, in newspapers, in press conferences that she gave. Is that correct?
Yes.
Objection to leading questions from
Sustained.
and to relevance.
Sustained.
Were there other people who were Amy Wallace had a movie contract with some people from Friends of Dan Broderick's that were collaborating in that.
Objection, Your Honor, irrelevant and states facts not known.
Sustained.
Well, have you participated with anybody in some kind of movie or anything else? Or any kind of movie or book rights or anything else?
I'm aware of these things happening. I've not been in contact or given my consent or cooperation to any of those things, no.
Um, Now, at the time, when was the first time that you had contact with the press? Who was that you had contact with?
I don't remember specifically. What I remember is all kinds of people attacked the visitor window. The first visits I had, they wrote me letters.
No, I'm sorry. Excuse me. I'm talking about the first time in regards to the divorce. What was the first time? There was mention of a reader interview. You remember that?
Right.
Was there some contact with the Reader magazine?
Yes, they contacted me about a story.
Okay. Did you contact those writers about a story?
No.
Okay. And was there a story written originally?
Yes, they interviewed me and Dan and Linda, and they were doing a story on what was going on in this divorce in 1987 or 88. I don't remember.
At some point in time, was there a letter that you wrote where there was a problem getting that letter printed to the reader?
Yes.
And what was the problem with that?
Is that Dan threatened to sue the reader if they had anything to do with me or used my name or did anything about what was going on.
Was there a time that you were invited to speak before some group that, as to number of men and women were asked to about what was happening in the divorce system?
It was a press conference held by HALT about people that were having problems in the legal system, not just divorce.
Okay. And were you invited to speak at that?
Yes.
Did you speak at that?
Yes, I did.
Okay. And was there a publication and a TV broadcast of the people that spoke?
There was news coverage both on TV and in the newspapers.
And what happened to your segment?
Objection, Your Honor, irrelevant.
Overruled unanimously.
Dan threatened to sue the TVs or the newspapers if they put my face or my name on anything or linked him with me. And so I was not allowed to have a name or a face. I was not, in the newspaper, I was a nameless, faceless housewife whose husband was a president of a local bar. I wasn't Betty Broderick, whose husband, Dan, was president of the San Diego County Bar Association. Everyone else covered had a name and dates and facts. I wasn't allowed to have a name.
Now, I take it that through the pendency of this trial, you sat through preliminary hearings, sat through a first trial, and sat through this trial. Is that correct?
Yes, I had to.
Okay, so you've heard various pieces of evidence and various witnesses testify through the whole proceedings.
That's correct.
The there was some testimony as to some hearings that were had, some contempt hearings that were had in 1987 and some more that were in 1988. Remember
Yes.
being questioned about
Yes.
that? Did the subject of keeping of Linda's voice not being on the phone, was that brought up?
Yes.
And was there an order each time by the judge to Mr. Broderick about Linda's voice being on the kid's answering machine?
Yes.
And in March, or the last hearing in 1988, was there an order by the court, including on the restraining order, that restrained Linda's voice from being on the answering machine?
Yes.
Was there any suggestions by the court that that was a problem putting another phone line in?
Yes.
You referred to Mr. Broderick was present at that hearing when that order was given, wasn't he?
Yes.
This is If I can have a photo marked as defendant's next in order, Your Honor.
The triple J.
Yes, and it appears to be a picture below a counter, some drawers just below a counter. The drawers are open. Some items in the drawer.
You know, I have him sped up, but I don't feel like I do. I mean, you can see him when he walks. He's a little sped up. Dang.
And I'm showing you what's been marked JJJ for identification. Do you recognize those drawers and where that is?
Those are parts of two of my desk drawers right off the kitchen in my home.
In the photographs that the district attorney has as of your home, there's a black countertop in the kitchen. Is that black countertop?
Yes,
And is the card that you referred to, the that holy card, is that in there?
yes.
Okay, and is it the blue card that's in there?
Now, do you want me to read it?
Well, is that the blue card that's in there?
Yes.
Okay, and what did that card say?
Objection, Your Honor, it's advanced over here. It's already been testified to.
It's been asked and answered, also sustained.
Your Honor, I did ask to reopen at the end of my questioning. It was said I could just go through it now. I agree with the request.
So, no, I disagree.
Y'all told me to reopen at the end to go through this. Question is,
Simply offer the photograph and said there's no objection to that. There's already been questions asked about what it said.
I thought he wanted to put the card in also. Maybe I'm mistaken.
No, Your Honor, just a photograph.
There's already been some testimony as to what it said, as I recall.
The marriage encounters that we have marked here, one is yours and one is Mr. Broderick's.
Correct.
Was yours, when was yours finally located?
I don't know particularly when, but we didn't have it at the time of the last trial.
And is there, there's a date in your marriage encounter, is that correct?
Yes.
And was there a date in Mr. Broderick's?
There's a vague notation in the back that there was supposed to be a meeting in November of '86. I don't know. There's a vague notation in the back of Dan's. And last year we tried to ascertain the exact weekend of the marriage encounter and we couldn't. This year, since we found mine, we can.
There was marked into evidence a letter to Judge Joseph. You were shown the fourth page of that letter, is that correct?
What's up, Zach? Good to see you. Thank you for the $2 super chat. Sorry, Ash. Carmen said you're behind on child support. I think you have an excuse right now. It's okay. But thank you. Hope you're doing well. You took your mannequin to the shop to have some parts replaced. They charged you an arm and a leg. Ah. I can't, I'm scared to speed him up anymore because the judge will be too fast and then the prosecutor will be too fast. Ooh, no more rain. Tell that to go away. I hope it doesn't get crazy down there. So stay safe, my friend, please.
Yes.
I'll go back to that in just a moment.
All right.
The in 1987, there was a proposal made, settlement proposal made by you to Mr. Broderick through your attorney?
Yes.
Okay. And did you receive a response on that?
For a long time, we didn't get any response. And
Objection,
then
Your Honor,
Did you receive a response?
Ultimately, yes.
And, Your Honor, I would like Mark for identification. Mr. Mark. What?
The offer.
I don't have that.
Triple K,
Yes, sir.
and it's a one-page document.
Yes.
They're very careful how they said that one. JJJ,
Somewhat.
triple K. Yes, please don't say it. All three of them.
Showing you what has been marked as triple K. Do you recognize this letter?
Yes.
Okay. And that was the discussion that was had, at least to that proposal by you.
Excuse me?
That was what?
The answer, the response to our proposal for a settlement, yes.
The, when you were, last year, when you were testifying in custody, did you have any visitors at the jail in the evening?
Yes,
Okay, and who would visit you at the jail in the evening?
you would,
And did we discuss your testimony?
yes.
Okay, and what happened during those discussions?
Your Honor, excuse me, if we can approach the sidebar.
I think maybe we better early.
Can I approach my client?
Yes.
Broderick, I'm going to ask you some questions about the clothes that you wore at the last trial. And I'm just going to ask you about there was a decision by you at the last trial to wear particular items of clothing, is that correct?
Yes,
After the trial began?
yes.
Okay, and without going into any conversations you might have had with other people, what was that decision? Why did you make that decision to wear certain clothes?
Because the clothes that I had to have had to be, not show the dirt and not wrinkle, and had to be warm because of the conditions that I have to be in every single day with the chains and the handcuffs and being transported at 5 a.m. till 8 p.m. and sitting on benches and handcuffed, and they had to meet those criteria like this outfit does.
There was a question asked about during the marriage, I think the term was, did Dan squander any money? You indicated that no, he didn't. How were the money decisions made during those early years of marriage?
Objection has to be.
Overruled, you can answer that.
Dan controlled the money and the loans and the purse strings, and I got $25 a week for food and stuff when we were poor. Does that answer your question?
Did he do anything with what he thought was discretionary money during that time?
He had the discretionary money. He took flying lessons and went on ski vacations and things that I didn't do.
And was that something that, how did you feel about that?
Well, I was having babies every year, and I was home with the babies, and I didn't really want to go out and do all that stuff, but nobody ever gave me money and said, here, why don't you go do something? I thought we were poor, and I didn't think we had any money to do anything, so I didn't do anything.
The district attorney asked you some questions about Mr. Broderick, about the funeral, and some comments you made. You were upset about a Catholic funeral. Some also other comments that Mr. Broderick made.
No, excuse me, I object. I attempted to ask those questions and I objected to by counsel. I was not allowed to go into them.
That is not my recollection. She did go into them. Some of them were objected to.
Well, your client said if she would have handled the funeral differently, so go ahead and ask about the funeral if you want.
Well, there was also some other questions that were asked about Mr. Broderick's statements at the trial about early, he would have divorced early except for Catholic views. Remember those questions?
Yes.
Objection, Your Honor, that misstates the evidence. There was no,
Frame your question, Mr. Earl. Let me see what your question is.
Did you have some problems as to Mr. Broderick, how he was portraying himself?
Yes.
Stand.
Was there a public persona for Mr. Broderick?
Very definitely, yes.
And was there ways he liked to be perceived by people, such as the judge or the public?
His image was extremely important to him at all times, yes.
And was that something that you disagreed with about how he wanted to be portrayed?
At which point in time, no, I used to be part of the image.
I know, but after the divorce and after the separation, did you disagree with what his public image was?
Yes, I thought it was hypocritical
And why was that?
and false because he was portrayed at the time of the funeral and by his friends as a Catholic family man with traditional family values, and he was buried in a Catholic cathedral, and I just thought it was very hypocritical and false.
Why did you think that?
Because Dan never stepped foot in the Catholic Church while I was married to him, and he was very much against the Catholic Church, and he even put it in writing in the marriage encounter, and he discouraged me from putting the kids in Catholic school and having first communions and baptisms and things. So I thought it was phony.
What was it that Mr. Broderick said about the Catholic Church?
objection, Your Honor, there's been a pretrial ruling on this.
It's irrelevant.
Your Honor, can I,
It's in the marriage encounter book that you're going to put that in. So just go on to something else.
Your Honor, excuse me, can we approach side vote?
All right.
Hello, Shenny. How are you? I don't remember talking about the
we have
funeral
a
before now.
encounter book that was marked as defense expert identification. And I do have copies for the type copies of the encounter for the jury. I'd like to be able to ask if they be read at this time.
All right. Defendant X has received an evidence, and you can distribute the copies of that to the jurors. Have my deal. Go ahead, Mr. Roy.
I'm going to just, Your Honor, I have marked as LLL for identification. What appears to be, this is a 4-page letter that is written on San Diego County Sheriff's Department with the heading of that. It's on paper. It appears to be from the jail.
Is the date on it, sir?
6187.
Fine, so marked.
Mrs. Broderick, remember seeing the other, the page, there was a page 4 of a letter,
Yes.
just looking at LLL for identification. Can you tell me whether that's the whole letter, including the 4th page?
Yes.
You were asked some questions in regards to well, before we go to that, if I may withdraw that question. During the time that during the pendency of this case, when you refer to legal mail, what are you referring to as far as legal mail?
Anything that came to my house in a legal envelope with a return address of an attorney, whether it was Dan or someone else, was legal mail to me. Legal papers to me.
So when you were getting the letters from Dan on his stationery with his letterhead,
It was a legal paper to me, right?
and were you getting those, were you getting a large number of those, including the court paperwork?
Yes.
And were you getting that from, and I take it that's from your mail, your house?
Yes.
Okay, what time did your mail get there?
In the afternoon.
So in the afternoon, when the mail arrived, can you give us an estimate of how many times you would get something that had to do with the case?
It appeared to me hundreds of times over the year's duration.
There was a question in regards to the fine that the district attorney asked you about on the hearing in February of 1988. Remember that? Remember her asking you about the fine?
I'm not exactly sure which date or which fine you're talking about.
Okay, in February of 1988, there was a hearing that you called a dog hearings.
Okay.
And there was a fine.
Yes, now I remember.
And the district attorney questioned you and say, isn't it true that that fine was not imposed at that time? Remember?
Right.
Okay.
Right. That's
Showing you what has been marked as MM for identification.
Is it triple M or just double M?
I'm sorry, triple M, Your Honor.
Go ahead.
Do you recognize that letter?
Yes,
Okay. And that letter is dated what?
March 1st, 1988.
And is that a payment, a support payment letter?
Yes,
And is there anything deducted on that letter in regards to a fine?
yes, fine to the county of San Diego,
And how much is deducted?
$1,000.
And that was by Mr. Broderick.
Yes,
Your memory is that that was court ordered at that time.
yes,
The, now, the district attorney showed you some checks in August, September, October, and November of 1989. Is that correct? Remember
Yes,
those checks
yes.
that she showed you, the deposit slips? Remember that?
yes,
In June and July of 1989, did you receive your full payment?
no, Dan kept money out.
And was there any court order for him to keep money out?
There was a court order against him keeping money out.
Well, if the court ordered, for instance, the $1,000 he kept money out, that was because there was a court order for you to pay a fine. Is that correct?
That was a fine imposed by the court on me. The other fines were fines imposed by him on me, and he was not allowed to do that since Napoleon Jones ordered him years earlier not to do that.
Did you have any court hearings on those fines?
Of course not, no.
The district attorney went through a number of checks that you were writing in 1986 and 1987 in regards to money that you were spending. Is that correct?
Yes,
Okay. Now, in 1986 and 1987, the community property, as far as properties, land, bank accounts, who had control over those?
Dan,
And during the period of time, Mr. Broderick was writing over $1 million worth of checks.
Objection, Your Honor, counsel's testifying.
During that period of time, was anyone writing checks and spending your community property?
yes,
Objection, Your Honor, six five. It's not that.
Hasn't been decided or split yet, Mr. Early.
Well, did you find out later that somebody was spending $1 million that you would be credited for?
Objection, Your Honor, paying debts and paying community debts is,
Well, the way he worded it, that she'd be credited for is permissible. You can answer that just yes or no.
yes,
Were you consulted about whether that property should be kept or where that property should go, or whether it should be sold, or what should be done with that money?
no, not at all.
The district attorney asked you about,
Your Honor, I'm going to object to the continuing foundational manner in which he's asking foundational questions.
Oh, overrules. He's just focusing our attention in an area. Go ahead, Mr. Early.
there was some questions that were asked about assets that you were suspicious of or worried about.
Yes,
Was there any property or that was bought just before separation that changed just after separation?
yes.
And what was that?
It was a residence in Pennsylvania that Dan and Larry were buying together. And it was just, they were buying it together and then they undid the deal and then they did the deal again where it was Dan's money, but only Larry's name appeared on the property. But
No.
everybody knew it was half Larry's and half Dan's.
Now, before Dan left, whose property was it? Before February of 1955? I mean, who was buying it?
Dan and Larry were buying it together, 50-50.
And was there money that went before the split up that went to the purchase of the property?
Yes, Dan, the money that Dan used to buy 50% of that property was community property money.
And then after he left, did the title of the land or did the arrangement with Larry change?
Yes,
And how did that change?
because the Dan's name did not appear on the property, but it was a gentleman's type agreement between Larry and Dan and the third party that Dan owned 50% with Larry, but the paperwork only showed that Larry owned it all.
And did that money then become a loan to Larry?
Yes, on paper.
There was some testimony about, or some questions asked about Robin Taboo. Remember that?
Yes,
Have you ever seen a police report or incident report at any time about that?
no,
Ladies and gentlemen, while he's checking his notes, it would be my intention to go through till the noon recess unless one of the jurors feel they need a recess. If you do, signify now by raising your hand. All right, seeing no hands raised, go ahead, Mr. Early.
There were some questions asked about problems with money in 1987 between you and Dan, and you were shown some checks in deposit slips. You remember that?
yes,
Were there
Middleton. You're having two conversations with the same person. It's hilarious. He read, all he did, Flashman just read hot days as hot dogs. And then, well, you know what you said. What's up, Iris? How are you? Thank you for hitting the thumbs up. I appreciate it. Oh my goodness. Carmen. Carmen, I really want to read this. I bet she has a deep voice now. Hi, my name's Betty. Let me make your bed for you. Smooth your carpet. Dang it, Carmen. Sorry. I don't know. I just maybe Betty might be hot dogs involved or carpet. I'm not sure. I think she's full though. Yeah, I don't know. There was I don't know. You know how it is in here. I'm just in here watching the track. Ah, Puddleton. Okay, I'm hitting play, Carmen.
There are like 3 letters. I believe they can just be marked as one exhibit.
All right, defense triple N.
They are a letter from Daniel Broderick on August 31st, another letter on June 8th from Ms. Smith, and a letter on August 26th of 87 from Ms. Smith.
Yeah, they're all 1987 letters. Mr. All
Yes,
1987.
they're all 1987.
All right, so marked.
Showing you these 3 letters marked double handwriting application. Do you recognize those letters?
Yes.
You go through all 3 of them.
Yes.
And during 87, starting from the beginning of it, were there problems with both Tricia Smith and you getting money?
Yes.
In 19, there was problems with what you termed, you thought, delay tactics or foot dragging with Mr. Broderick.
Yes.
And did, at any time, did Tricia Smith write letters about that?
Yes. She always complained that he wasn't cooperating.
Oh, this guy takes 6 years between each
I can have
question.
another 3-page letter, Your Honor, marked right now. It appears to be, it's a letter on Tricia Smith's stationery dated June 15th,
1987,
88.
1988, all right, so
Wait,
marked,
It's 88.
so marked.
I'm sorry, it's January 15th. Did I say June?
It said June, January 15th, 88, so marked.
You're gonna miss
Only
church
3 months, I
lady.
think, with a J, Your Honor.
It's confusing, there's 12 of them too.
Have you seen that letter?
Yes.
And was that written in response to problems that they were having?
Yes, she says it's her one last final demand.
The, there were questions asked about the court hearings being closed. Remember that?
Yes.
In the hearings in February and I believe it was March of 1988, it may have been May of 1988. Yes, March, February and May of 1988. Were there discussions about whether the courtroom and the file was closed?
Between whom?
Did the judge indicate that it was his belief that the courtroom had been closed and the files had been closed?
Yes, and yes, that was everyone's belief all along.
There were some questions asked about things that you were doing. Did you think about them harming the children? Remember those questions?
Yes.
Did you do anything to protect the children in 83 and 85 from an affair that was going on?
Did everything.
That has to be answered.
No rule is properly read.
And it states facts, not knowledge. Assumes facts, not knowledge.
Well, he's asking her, did she do that? Did she do anything?
It
Yes or?
assumes that there was an affair going on in 83 and 84. There's no facts to that.
Well, you're Hunter.
That's within the possible range. Go ahead, you can answer that yes or no. Did you do anything?
Yes, I did everything to protect them from it. They didn't know from me.
Was Mr. Broderick doing anything to protect his family unit from disintegrating when he was having an affair?
No.
Okay. Did you learn that Mr. Broderick had bought various gifts for Linda Kolkena while the two of you were still married?
Yes.
And what was that?
Objection.
A condominium.
Beyond the scope of your own.
Sustained.
But you indicated that you were upset about Mr. Broderick and the community money and how he was spending it. Was there anything that you were upset about in relation to things that you found out that he was buying for Linda Broderick, Linda Kolkena at the time?
Yes, I thought all monies expended on Linda Kolkena in 83 and 84 and before the divorce in 85 were community property monies ill spent on my behalf. Those dollars were half mine that were spent on Linda that bought her a house, a car, fur coats, and a jewelry. And that was my money. Half my money.
The question as to, remember the question as to Mr. Broderick? You were shown a letter and asked if Mr. Broderick was trying to make the split up in the divorce easy for the children? Remember those questions?
Yes.
Did in those letters and Mr. Broderick's comments, did he ever mention that he had talked to somebody about having you killed and how much it would cost and how he could be protected?
No.
Did he ever bring that up to you?
No,
Was he having those conversations to protect the children?
no, obviously not.
The You indicated that there were some rumors that you thought were being spread about you. Is that correct?
I knew. Yeah, they got back to me.
Did you ever receive a contempt hearing that in 1989, beginning of October, that you had broken into Mr. Broderick's house in the middle of the night and confronted them in their bedroom?
No.
Okay. Did that happen?
No.
Did you hear that Linda was telling that to people?
Yes.
There was some questions asked about the divorce file, about you being the one who stole it. Is that correct?
Yes.
Now, the divorce file was found sometime by the court after you were arrested. You know that, don't you? That it sometime resurfaced through the court.
I've been told that.
Okay. They didn't let you out of jail to go give somebody the court file back, did they?
No.
The What's her voice? I'd like to have a tape on next one.
I've done triple P.
You've listened to the tapes of your conversations or that statements that you made over the telephone, is that correct?
Yes.
And the tape conversations that you heard on the telephone, that the message machines, those weren't always, were they always complete? Were those all the messages you ever left at that house?
No, they're not even one part of 1% of the messages that were left over the years at the house. They're just on a very few days for specific reasons.
When when you were in jail in 1987, did you find out anything about whether there was a record of you being in jail?
Yes, I found out there wasn't a record of me being there.
And how did you find that out?
A friend of mine was very, very upset and concerned that I had been put in jail, and she called a pastor at her church who works in the jails, and he came to the jail and tried to see me, and I was not on the computer, and they said that I wasn't there, but I was there.
Now, there was a hearings that the district attorney referred to as the contempt hearings that she showed in 1987. And there was a hearing on the 2nd and a hearing on the 28th. Is that correct?
Yes.
Now, a hearing is where there was evidence taken.
Yes.
Were there other hearings that were set?
Oh, yes, lots.
And were those hearings and the hearings, were those hearings continued?
Yes.
Your Honor, if I have a one-page letter marked next in order. It's dated, actually not dated, Your Honor. It's on letterhead of Mitchell Ashworth and E. Berry. It does have a receipt stamp, February 16th. Of what year? 1986.
All right, somewhere, triple Q.
Now, the hearing that you had in front of Napoleon Jones, it was actually in 87, is that correct? 86, Mr. Hargrove was your lawyer. By 87, you had Tricia Smith.
But they were both Judge Jones, I believe.
Okay. The, showing you what has been marked as tenant QQQ for identification. There was, that was in regards to a contempt hearing, is that correct?
Yes.
And that was one of the first contempt hearings that was set on the day it asked to be set on the day of your reconsideration, is that correct?
Yes.
And that hearing, as well as others, were continued for some period of time. Some of them were continued to other dates.
Yes, I was totally confused by it. It seemed I was always under threat of something happening at that time, and I'd show up in court and then it would be put off, or he wouldn't show up. Or
Eventually, were some of the, on the hearing dates we have, was there a number of different hearings that were consolidated at one time?
yes, it appears so. Yes.
You indicated that that at some point in your life, there was some point in this process, the depression took over, or became a predominant part. You remember when that was?
There was a progression of all sorts of different feelings, and the really deep depression didn't start till well into 87.
And what was it that brought that upon? What had happened that led finally to that?
It was a whole string of emotional reactions from 1983. A plethora of feelings of, when the affair first started, that was a set of upset and betrayal and lies and things like that. And then we went into the separation and more lies, and then I got angry about that. And then we got into the legal assault, and I thought he was just so unfair and so brutal with the sale of the house and with the bifurcation and this whole custody of the children, and then cutting me off the money and throwing me in jail. That by that point, I was just like finished. I couldn't stand it anymore. So then when I had Tricia Smith in the beginning, I thought maybe she would do something. But as the months and the months and the months and the money went out the window and my life went on and nothing got done, it's when I got really, really depressed because I didn't know how to get any satisfaction anywhere. And as we've described, and looking for help in the press and in the legal system, I just couldn't do anything. And that's when the stress translated into total depression. And that's what got worse from the end of 87 through 88 and into 89 was that I was screaming and yelling and flailing around and trying to get something settled, and I just couldn't get it settled. And I just got real depressed. I internalized it.
object at this time. Is there any questions?
Sustained.
I have no further questions.
Do you want to start your cross, or excuse me, your recross?
No, Your Honor.
We'll take our noon recess at this time, ladies and gentlemen. There's another matter. The attorneys will be here at 1:15. We can take up the other matter. How does your-
This may, well, maybe perhaps without the reporter, we can meet at some point.
We'll take our noon recess at this time, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be in recess until 1:30. Please remember the admonition not to discuss the case among yourselves nor allow anyone else to discuss it with you. No form any opinions until it's finally submitted to you. See you at 1:30. Mrs. Broderick is present. Ladies and gentlemen, this morning, Mr. Early, in questioning his client, asked a question with regard to whether or not Daniel Broderick had hired someone to attempt to kill her. As I told you before, statements of counsel are absolutely not evidence. There's absolutely no evidence before you that such a statement is true. And in fact, the defendant herself was not aware of such an assertion. Even the mere allegation is not relevant to these proceedings. I instruct you to disregard that statement, treat it as though you never heard it. The question and answer are stricken from the record. You're still under oath, Ms. Broderick. Cross-examine as well.
Questions, Your Honor. This marriage encounter book that you've referred to, the portion that was written by Dan Broderick. Mrs. Broderick, did you rip any pages out of here?
No, not that I remember.
Are there any pages that are missing out of here?
I don't know. There could have been another volume, but I don't know.
Well, when you read from page to page, they don't follow. At the end of one sentence, for example, at the end of the first page that you have here,
Okay, what's the question?
one element of happiness, my estimate at the end of my death will be particularly on you, him, and Lee. Daniel T. the fourth is still too young for it to matter, but also on everyone. Then it goes, son. I am disappointed in myself for these shortcomings. Obviously, there's a page missing. Did you rip that page out?
Is it missing from the handwritten copy?
Yes.
I don't know. No, I didn't rip any pages out.
At the end of this page, one worldly goal, one will and then it goes to plan until another it's too late. There's obviously, again, another page missing.
I don't know if there is another page missing. I don't know. I didn't tear any pages out.
You will agree, though, that it appears that there are pages missing from that book because the sentences don't flow, correct?
I don't know if that's the, I don't know if he was answering one question and then another. I don't know. I'd have to read the whole thing in a row. If it doesn't follow, I don't know what's wrong with it.
And you've already testified that you felt that during this marriage encounter back in 1976, that you felt that Dan, at the time, that he was being sincere when he wrote this. You felt that you were both being sincere at the time when you wrote this.
That was the point of the week, and I can only testify that I was being sincere. I hoped and thought that he definitely was.
And when he talked about the financial things that he wanted, I thought that you had described that he had indicated how he wanted all of these financial things for himself. Doesn't he say in here that what he wants includes, for example, the financial security to buy a piano for Kim if she wants one, to buy you a ring, to buy a microwave, a camera, whatever you want, when you want it? That's why he wanted financial security?
Yes, and that's what upset me, is because he promised us that it was for us as well as for him, that we had to wait longer, and he was doing this for us, and that's what really upset me.
Okay, but he was indicating that he was doing it for you, the kids, as well as for himself. It wasn't just
For us as a family, yes, definitely.
You also indicated that you had spoken publicly on behalf of this HALT group. Is that correct?
Not on behalf of them, it was to them. It was
To the HALT
their
group.
thing, yes.
Okay, and then did you also speak publicly at another hearing at the gender bias hearing before Superior Court?
That was entirely different. That didn't have anything to do with HALT.
Okay, but that was a public hearing that you went to, that you spoke about what you felt were the injustices in the system, and that was transcribed. It was a matter of public record. It was, in fact, in a big public room with a lot of people, right?
Yes, I just went as an individual person to that. It had nothing to do with any organization or anything.
Right, but you stated your name, and your name was a matter of public record, and you stated that you were married to Dan Broderick, and you gave all that information in a public hearing at the time, correct?
About gender bias in the courts, yes.
And it is also true that before the Reader article was written, that Dan Broderick gave a full interview to the Reader, to the author of the Reader, correct?
He gave a full interview, I gave a full interview, and then the the article that was supposed to come out of those interviews was never written.
Well, there was an article that did come out of those interviews in January of 1989, wasn't there?
There is an article that, because I remember he said it'll never be over till one of us was gone in a reader article, but it wasn't the article that we were interviewed to do. It was a much shorter thing.
May I have Marcus please exhibit 112, what purports to be an article from the reader?
Pre-marked on 111?
Yes, you are.
Yeah, all right. All right. So your article's marked People's 112.
And this was what month?
If you would just take a look at this article, and just to yourself, please, take a look at the article and see if that refreshes your recollection about an article that was written in January of 1989.
Yes, this is concerning something entirely different from what the interviews were about. This is about the trial. These are the people that tried to open the trial during the trial to the public and things, and that's about the trial not being open to the public. That's
And
not
Dan,
about the divorce situation, which is what the bigger article was supposed to be about.
right, and Dan gave a full and complete interview to the writers of that, and then when it was going to be published, there was concern by the psychologists, by Dr. Ruth Roth, by Dr. Sparta, by Dr. Taryn Phillips, and that's when they wrote these letters that you've already identified, correct?
I
They've
don't
been
know.
marked as People's Exhibit 101.
I've never read these letters, and I don't know when they wrote them or why they wrote them. I know that when the article was supposed to be printed,
Excuse me,
that's all I know.
okay, well, what you testified to was that he threatened to sue them because he didn't
He
have any
absolutely
information.
factually had two lawyers threaten to sue the newspaper that they went ahead with that article. He would sue them out of business because it would be an invasion of privacy for them.
Was there not a recommendation, in fact, a plea on behalf of all of these psychologists for them not to write that
I
article?
wouldn't know that. I'm not a party to any of those
Stay.
talks. I was not a party to any of those communications, and I was not aware of that.
You don't have to answer the question.
Oh, sorry.
Are the chairs like extra squeaky today? Good grief. Oh, I fixed my banner and then I never put it back up. Maybe that's what the chairs were reminding me. Also, the snowballs on that lady's sweater look like they're just, they look like they're just stuck on her shoulder. Like just stuck on. It's sheer underneath there. I can't tell what's happening. It's very weird.
You were aware, obviously, that when a marriage breaks up, there's community property and both sides split the community property, as well as both sides are responsible for community debts.
That's
Correct?
exactly what I thought, yes.
Okay.
And that's not what happened.
And you didn't continue to pay on any community debts after the separation?
That's-
Excuse me. if
There
you-
were no community debts that you're talking about.
Right. Did you make any payments on any community debts after the date of separation?
No.
Simply a question, yes or no, did you make any payments
Just
on
a
any
minute.
community debts?
Do you have an objection to that question?
Yes, Your Honor, objection, since facts not in evidence, it's ambiguous.
Overruled on both those grounds.
Did you
Yes,
make
sir.
any payments on any community debts after the date of separation? Yes or no?
I don't know what you're defining as a community debt. If you would be more
Any
specific.
outgoing obligations, for example, payments on mortgages, payments on taxes, payments on investments that have to be made? Did you make any payments, yes or no?
I don't know. I did not make any payments.
Thank you. And the property, the residence that you talked about, the property that Dan and Larry bought in Pennsylvania at some point, or he lent some money to Larry, that was their parents' property. Their parents were in financial trouble. They were getting ready to lose their house, and they bought their home for their parents so that they could live in the home that they had been living in all along. Isn't that not true?
I wouldn't know if anything that you said is true. I don't know any of that.
Well,
All I
you
know
knew
is
that
that
they
Dan-
bought a residence in Pennsylvania, and you're saying that you didn't know that it was their parents' home that they were buying?
Oh, I knew that was the name of the property, but I don't know that anyone was in financial trouble, or I don't know what you just said about those things. I know that they arranged to 50-50 buy that property.
For their parents? You didn't know?
I don't
anything about
know the arrangements of why they bought it.
that? When you made an offer, or your attorney, Tricia Smith, made an offer sometime in 1987.
Yes.
In that offer, in 1987, there was no request for any change of status and custody of the children, was there? At that time, Dan Broderick had custody of children, and you made no request for any change of custody. It was included in that offer that custody remained the same, correct?
I don't know. I haven't seen that offer since 1987. If it's around somewhere and that's what it says, that's fine with me.
You indicated that there was some trouble by Tricia Smith in getting discovery of financial documents. You've already talked about the deposition that was given in July of 1987 by Dan Broderick, in which there were questions about all of his financial documents and all of that kind of stuff, right?
I wasn't a party to the deposition. I was aware there was a deposition taken.
Your Honor, at least at this point, I'd like to at least have marked as people's next in order a deposition of Daniel T. Broderick dated July 20th, 1987.
All right, so marked, 113.
Thank you. Final product out here.
Yeah, that's unfortunate that you know I was still there.
Who is that?
Yes. You're hearing me on the phone?
Yes, we are, ma'am. We are.
You
here
also
to demonstrate-
testified that Dan Broderick had bought a house for Linda and had bought a car for Linda before your separation. You know of no evidence that shows that, do you?
No, I do. No, I do know
No,
of
they're not.
evidence that shows that.
You have financial documents or documents that show that Dan Broderick bought a house for Linda or bought a car for Linda?
We have financial documents that show that Linda bought a house at a time where she had no other source of income in the world except Dan Broderick. But he did not put his name on those papers.
Well, so she was working for Dan Broderick as a paralegal and obviously making a salary. And she bought a condominium on her salary. And you're saying that Dan Broderick bought it for her?
Exactly, yes.
And you indicated that Linda was spreading rumors about you, that you had broken into the house in the middle of the night and confronted them on an earlier occasion. How were you aware of that alleged rumor?
I don't remember how I heard that one, but I heard a lot of rumors of what she
You
was saying about me.
specifically
remember.
testified about that rumor.
I
just this
definitely
morning.
heard that rumor, but I don't remember specifically when or from who or, I
Isn't
know
it-
she told people that.
Isn't it true that you did break into their house and confront them?
No, of course not. No, because obviously Dan would have had me arrested or filed a report or done something, and he didn't do any of that. Obviously, I didn't do that.
And you, at this point, you have no recollection whatsoever of who would have told you that she was saying that.
No, but I know that I heard who she told it to. She told it to Marshall Hockett, who I don't know, but he's an attorney.
And you also indicated that after your arrest on this incident, obviously you were in custody, and at some point the divorce file, at least a portion of the divorce file, was discovered. Obviously, you couldn't have put it back into evidence because you were in custody. It's also clear that obviously Dan Broderick could not have done it because he was dead, right?
I don't know if it's ever been found. I've never looked at it. I heard in this court from last year during the last trial that it had been found supposedly. I've never verified if that is what's in it or anything. I don't know.
May I have marked as People's Exhibit 111, Your Honor? A series of 1, 2, 3, 4 deposit slips.
So marked.
If you could just take a look at these and identify them, please, as your deposits.
Yes,
And those are your deposit slips for April, May, June, and July of 1989.
May, June, and July of 1989, correct.
And in one of those months, when Dan Broderick didn't send you the full $16,000, he sent you $15,000, $15,903. And that was because you had, when you dropped off the kids one day, you had driven across his property and over some lights and destroyed the lights in his property.
That was his allegations and his fines, but I didn't do that. And I remember the scratch on the picture, I think. I don't know. It was minor fines, but they were fines, and to me, he was starting it again, testing me.
With respect to the, one of the exhibits was shown you about the $1,000 fines. That was not a fine that Dan Broderick was imposing. That was a fine that the court had ordered to be imposed, correct?
That's exactly what I said, yes.
Just wanted to make sure there's no misunderstanding. For example, in this payment, March 15th, 1988, there was a court-ordered fine of $1,000 that the court ordered Mr. Broderick to pay on your behalf, correct?
Right.
Okay. So he wasn't just all by himself deducting $1,000 from your support. The court had ordered him to do that based on your findings of contempt.
which I thought were a bunch of hogwash, yes, and these fines were court imposed, but the other ones were not.
And Tricia Smith did, at least at one point, acknowledge to the court that she had received all the discovery from Dan Broderick, didn't she?
No, not that I'm aware of. I'm aware of exactly the contrary, according to this letter. Which they just,
That letter?
I don't have it sitting here right now, but I had it a minute ago. Do you have the letter?
Okay, counsel's indicating he'll stipulate the date was January 15th, 1988. The letter has been marked around there, I just don't know where it is.
All right.
And didn't she, on February 24th, 1988, indicate to the court that she had received all discovery at that point?
I don't remember. Is that just an oral thing? I
Yes,
don't
to the
remember.
court.
I don't remember. Did she say that he delivered it that day or something in that
That she had received the
That
remaining discovery that day,
day? Right.
in February of 1988.
Right, after she wrote that letter.
I have no further questions at this point. Madam.
Mr. Ehrlich?
The district attorney asked about whether you had been making any payments on community property, remember that?
Correct.
Okay. In fact, you had been making hundreds of thousands of dollars of payments.
Your Honor, counsel is testifying, and that's not.
It's also argumentative sustained.
During the, did you ever get charged for making, during that period of time, did you get charged for the community debts?
Yes.
Okay.
But I got charged for more than community debts.
Okay, so you were paying in 1986 and 87 and 88, you were paying community debts.
Your Honor, the community was paying community debts.
Objection sustained.
Did you have any possession of the community in 86, 87, 88 that was paying these debts?
No, but I'm having a problem with the words here. If we can just straighten out the words, maybe I can straighten out what I think being here.
The Epstein credits. You're paying, did you have control of the community to decide which debts will be paid and which items will be sold and which should be kept and not kept?
No, I had no control or knowledge of any financial stuff.
I have no further questions.
Any recross?
No, Your Honor.
Witness being excused?
Subject to recall, Your Honor.
All right. Have you swear? Just believe in the bail again. Thank you. The next witness is one we need to discuss something about 2 minutes.
Yes.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to need to take up a matter outside your presence that should take 10 minutes or less. So
I think it's going to take till tomorrow. Subject to recall. What a tricky thing to do, prosecutor. Wow. Oh, Carmen, where'd it go? There it is. Thank you for the $20 super chat, Carmen. Good to know on this lovely Monday evening. Followed up by, Carmen, you're worse than Dan for grifting off this. Thank you for being a member for 9 months, Puddletown, and for all the mannequin jokes today. Indiana criminal who got taken out by the state. Maybe. And Gabby, thank you for the $3 super sticker. I'll do it right this time again, because last time I did the shocker. Well, the time before the last time. I don't know, Flash fan, but that's what she said. Subject to recall. I don't think the defense attorney said that. Anything? I don't know. Puddletown, thank you for the $5 super chat. Carpet or hardwood floors seasonal. Oh. No comment. Yeah, I don't know. That's what what she said. That's what she said. I love you too, Puddletown. And a platonic stepbrother's way. Like, Did we just become best friends? I know that's why you do it. I practice though. Oh, Carmen. Now I got that song going through my head. Yes, that's what she said. Period. Full stop. Ugh, I don't want. Do I have to? You know, it's not hard. Betty just writes it herself. I don't even have to do anything. Just like, but I will say, when I didn't really really do it. I typed the word "fapped" in Discord. We became besties. Autocorrect is hilarious. I know, Flashman. I appreciate you being here. And you did all the moddy stuff too while Gabby was busy. I appreciate that. Did a great job. All right. I told you today's stream would be very short. Betty is off the stand. Tomorrow we get a doctor. Wednesday is dinner with my dad and brother. Thursday we get another doctor. I think we're going to have her part 1 and 2, but they're not super, super long. And then I believe, so that would be Monday. So I think next Tuesday, I think there's like, they call 2 or 3 judges as witnesses. The defense does. That, I'm here for that. That will be, it may be a big letdown, but I think that will be amazing to see some judges come to the stand and be questioned. I would believe that it would be the judges that were maybe involved in her divorce along the way at some point in time, that she is accused of having conversations in the judges' chambers off the record with Dan, her attorneys, and the judge. I'm going to say they probably like Dan a lot, but wouldn't do that. But maybe. Yeah, Flashman, I think there's 2 or 3. I have to go back and look at the list again because it just said like witnesses. and then when I clicked on it to see who it was, I'm like, oh my, calling the judges. Calling the judges. I don't know if they're retired at this point in time, like in that time. I've never seen a judge called as a witness, not an active one. You do. I don't yell. I don't yell very often, and I never yell at you. If I yell, it's like in astonishment. Ah, well, fine. Oh, wouldn't that be funny if they object before the lawyers object and they try? So much could happen. I am not the corn queen. I am not. Oh. Well, that's good news, Carmen. Philtown, I might have to take back the fact. I don't think that's possible. And if it is, I don't want to know how. Oh. Good one, Ash. Maybe they should just, using that logic, maybe they should just give them ears of corn and not hot dogs in prisons. You know, then there's All right. I can't finish what I was going to say because I would embarrass myself. Yep. Okay. You know what? I was just, no, you're fine. My head is, I just probably shouldn't say what I'm thinking they could do with the corn cob. I'm just saying it's like a 2-for-1. They could eat the corn and they still have the corn cob. Everything gets fed and the corn cob gets used. I mean, it's a win-win. No, you shuck it before you give it to them. You wouldn't have to be all right. Or as Gabby would say, you peel it. You peel the corn. Oh, Gabby, I was listening to a hearing from Kansas today, and the prosecutor said vehicle, and I busted out laughing because I heard it. I heard it. I heard it. I was like, I hear what Gabby hears now. Like, yeah, Carmen, I don't know how it's going to handle you tonight. I heard it. I heard her say it. And then somebody else said it. I'm like, oh my gosh. I hear the vehicle. I hear so many vehicles. Ah, you want to see a Nebraska trail with the accent? What? Trial. I don't hear an accent when I go out there. They hear my accent, and here they heard, when I go there, they hear my accent from here. When I moved here, they heard my accent from there. So I don't know. I don't hear an accent there. I do hear it here still, because some people, they're think they're from the very deep South, and they're not. I'm like, you're in Indiana and central, kind of South Central, I guess. Oh, yeah. And then there's people that don't think we're from this country, and I don't know where they think we're from. Vehicle. If you want to see a Nebraskan trail, ask someone from Nebraska lifts our shirt and then say vehicle. That's a Nebraska trail with an accent. I will come to DC and wash your mouth out with soap. Flash ban, no way. The nickel. So she must have been a very good person then. Littletown, oopsies. In a little town too. Like I said, I was past the exit to that town off of I-80, although that's off of Highway 30. So if you would have followed that west, you would have ended up in my little town in a few hours. You thought Gabby sounded like Auntie Bev before you heard Gabby? Wow. Okay, I'll probably say this wrong. Your mom is from Brockton. Brockton. It's Stoughton. Stoughton. I'm fine. Everything's fine. We're fine. Did I say Stoughton? Stoughton? What the heck is the name of that weird town? I know it's Worcester, even though I still read it in my mind as Worcester. Stoughton. It's Stoughton. I think. I got it right the first time I said Brockton. Oh, I'm learning. I'm going to go get myself a frap. Or, as we say out here, a frappe. Stoughton. Stoughton. Is right? Stoughton? Worcestershire sauce, a tiny town. Yes. I said it's spelled, take the shire off of that, Ash. That's how the town is spelled out there. And I said it was Worcester. And she died laughing. She's like, it's Worcester. I'm like, Worcester? How do you get that out of that? It's like a freaking word, like a rooster. A frappuccino. I tried to come up with some today, Flashman. There's not really. We would just, it's kind of like her frap and our frappe. Like, we have pop. We don't have soda. But I can't think. We have, there's things out there. I don't know. It's wash your sister, sauce, Jeezer, Louise's peeps. Worcester. Worcester. So, okay. It will always be Worcester in my mind because that's what it should say. No. No. My sister just moved here from Minnesota. She did not pick up the accent. My brother-in-law did, but he passed away. But he definitely picked up the Minnesota accent. It's like, dear Lord. A toilet. Yes, they do say weird. Here they say a toilet or a twirlet. It's like, it's a toilet. Or they say ruin. Like if you ruin something, you ruin it. My husband says it all the time. Like, what? You did what to it? A toilet, yes. Window is winder. Wash. But that's a thing from out, it's a Midwest thing to say, like, you wash something or you go to Washington. Like, my mom would, if she was going to go see Flashman, she would go to Washington. Like, there is no R in wash. Oh my gosh. Yes. Tuesday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. It's Tuesday, Monday. I'm like, no. I asked my husband one time, I was like, sing the beginning to the show Happy Days. And he's like, he didn't sing it, but he said, Sunday, Monday, happy days, Tuesday, Wednesday, happy days. I'm like, Tuesday, not Tuesday. You don't say Monday, Tuesday, happy days. Yeah, I know you're going to throw a vehicle in there. It's okay. Some people can't say shrimp. Your uncle would say shrimp. That's funny. Thursday. That's the day you clean the toilet. It's toilet cleaning Thursday. Yeah, I don't know. It's a thing here. It's weird. Tuesday, Dad was on the toilet and he had to call an ambulance. Oh my gosh. All right. Wednesday. Okay, guys. Let's go. You already have a Mississippi accent, Flash Man, so you've got it already. You're Louisiana. What did we call you? Whatever. You got a Louisiana, Mississippi accent, all mixed into one. And you've never been there, so don't know. Yes, yay for Monday. And yes, you do. All right. So that's it. I told you it'd be a short stream, and I'm going to keep my promise. I will be back tomorrow. I think tomorrow is another. I think tomorrow is going to be another fairly short stream as well. I think he's a little bit longer. I'll tell you in just 1 second. Oh no, a little bit shorter. So about an hour again. I think we've got like a couple more shorter streams, and then I think there's one that's over 2 hours again. You have a hard time saying Massachusetts, so you say Massachusetts. Yes, and don't go to Canton. All right, you guys. I will see you guys all tomorrow at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard or Eastern Time. I don't know if we're on Standard Time, Saving Time. I don't care. Eastern Time, 5 o'clock Carmen Time, or Dare Time, who was not here tonight. And we will start in with a doctor and get the move on with this trial again. And keep pushing forward and finish this thing up. Enjoy your evening. I don't know, do something fun, but have a great time. And I will see you guys all tomorrow. And thank you for hanging out. I appreciate it. Thank you for all the super chats, all the members, just anybody that's here. I appreciate it. If you haven't already, please hit that like and subscribe on the way out. I would appreciate that. YouTube, like all those things. So I will see you guys all later.